Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Lisa and I just competed in my very first bodybuilding show. So this video is actually going to give you a recap of everything with show day because I did not vlog as well as I had hoped. So we're gonna have a nice little chat. I hope you can stick with me through the end, but it's gonna be sort of like a sit down talk. So if I look down, it's just because I have notes because like I didn't want to forget stuff. So my show was on this past Saturday. Today's Wednesday. So I've taken a minute here to sort of just collect myself. And like I said, I wasn't in the best mental space going into the show, so I needed a little bit of mental space afterwards to sort of just decompress. So I competed in the OCB Midwest States show in DeKalb, Illinois on April 15th. That was this past Saturday. I competed in figure and I was in novice, which means you have not previously won or competed. I was in masters, which was 35 plus, and I was in open, which meant anybody, whether regardless of age, regardless of if you've competed before, it's just, that's the most competitive one because it's open to anyone. So I competed in all three of those within the figure category. And if you watched my last video, I did pretty well. And that's like so weird to say out loud, but I did pretty well. Definitely go back and watch if you have a chance. So basically I won figure novice, I took first. I won figure masters, I took first. And I took second in open. There were, I believe, 9 total competitors in the open one, and I took second. So for my first show, it's pretty good, I think. The plot twist is, so I knew it was a pro qualifier for the open category, which means that if you won the open, then you turn pro. So I knew that. And if you did, then you had to immediately, like, as soon as you left stage, had to go do a urine test. Like, do not pass go, do not collect anything, go urine test. So after I had, first they announced the novice winner, I think. And then I got my little bags. I went off stage, then I went back on for masters. Won that, went off stage, then had to go right back out for the open one and got second in that, and then went off stage and they're like, hey, you need to do a drug test. I'm like, no, I didn't win. And they were, I took second and they said, no, you won masters. You pro qualified for masters. And I was like, what? Huh? So I was like, what do you mean pro qualified? Like I can be a pro if I like do something. And they're like, no, like you're assuming you pass the drug test, like you get a pro card. And I was like, the fuck? I had no idea. So like when I was on stage, I was just like, oh neat, I get a trophy, like blah, blah, blah. But like I didn't realize until they pulled me afterwards. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know what to do with that. I still don't know what to do with that information. Like, what? Yeah, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, I have a hard time with this, but like, I'm so like, I'm proud of myself for showing up and putting my best out there and stuff like that and pushing through. And obviously proud of myself for winning novice and winning masters. But I feel like because I took second in the open, that it doesn't feel like the pro card is legitimate for masters because I didn't win the open one as well, if that makes sense. I have a hard time with like recognizing or whatever accomplishments, because like, look at this. I got a fucking pro card. Yes, it was in the master's division, but I am like, oh, but it wasn't an open. Like, I'm still discounting it. And why? Like, I should just be like, fuck yeah. I don't know. So that's how I feel. Like, it feels cool, and it doesn't like, I haven't changed my Instagram profile to say anything about pro or anything like that, because it doesn't feel like real or legitimate, or I don't know. Yeah. So I'm still dealing with those feelings. I'm sure everyone who's competed is like, or even if you haven't competed, is like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? I know, I get it. But it's how I feel. I don't know what to tell you. I just got judges' feedback this morning. So the way our show was set up was that, because some shows you can like go and get the feedback from the judges immediately after. But that's not how this one worked. I actually ran into one of the judges out when we were taking pictures, and was just like, hey, thank you for your time judging and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know how you guys make these decisions so fast and blah, blah. Do you have any feedback? And he's like, oh, I just turned in my notes. He's like, I'm really sorry. He goes, everything is in my notes, and I wouldn't be able to give you like a really proper feedback right now. I'm like, no, it's fine. So I waited till I got the feedback that the promoter sent out. So I'm filming on my phone, so I can't pull it up right now, but basically it was really positive feedback. Excellent conditioning. They liked my presentation, said my transitions were very smooth, very comfortable and confident with my posing. So all of that was really encouraging. And then the only constructive stuff was to have fuller delts and lats, which we knew. I could not get pumped up. We were chasing my carbs and like trying to fill me up, and I'll get into that in a minute. But we knew that I wasn't quite all the way full. And then the other constructive feedback was for my legs, because I had lost a lot of mass in my legs. Like, I didn't realize, I thought I had a lot of leg muscle before this, and it turns out it was fat. I have strong legs, but they're not big legs. So they said to work on the leg symmetry a little bit more. So, I mean, that's all stuff that we would do in an off season, but all like really positive feedback and very achievable. So, yeah, that was the feedback. We should be getting stage shots any day now, which I will share, obviously. They'll probably go out to my Instagram first, so make sure you're following me. Ding. Yeah, so let's see. My carb loading. So this doesn't even make fucking any sense to me, but basically, so my show was Saturday. Wednesday, before we started loading, and we did my normal like refeed macros, which was 160 carbs, 130 protein, and 40 fat. And I was sending pictures every morning. Got a little bit tighter, but again, then we went into a higher one, just like we had practiced with our loading, which was 230 carbs, 130 protein, and 40 fat. And that was on Thursday. Sent pictures on Friday. He's like, things are looking really good. You're actually tighter with those carbs. And by tighter, kind of like your muscles pop a little bit more. But he's like, we still have a lot more we need to fill you up with for Friday. So Friday, I did AM pictures, and he gave me like a tentative plan. He's like, we might end up at like 250 carbs, but we're gonna have you send pictures once, like after you do your tan, like later in the afternoon, and we'll decide what to do with your like PM meals. So I sent him those afternoon pictures, and he was like, yeah, no, we're gonna have to push even more carbs. Your body is literally just burning through these, which I was like, what? So instead of doing 250 carbs, we ended up doing 290 by the end of Friday, the night before. All caveat, all very easily digestible, low fiber type things. So I cut out vegetables for the most part. I reduced them on Wednesday and then kept them low Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I try to keep my fiber around like less than 15 grams, which normally I'm like almost 30 grams. So that way you don't get bloated and stuff like that. So then show day morning, I sent pictures again, and he was like, damn girl, you went through those carbs. We still need to fill you up more. So yeah, he pushed food for my breakfast and then like what I would call my second breakfast, because we didn't go on stage wasn't expected to go on stage till like 2:30ish. So we did 50 grams of carbs for breakfast, 20 grams of protein, and 10 grams of fat for my first breakfast and my second breakfast. And then I don't know. Hang on, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, sorry about that phone call. I was talking about carb loading. Yeah, so my 2 breakfasts, we had, and then I think we did a little bit before I went on stage. I had quote unquote, I'm just gonna call it my third meal. I don't know what you call it. It was 30 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein, 5 of fat, and then literally shortly before I went on stage, I did 4 sour strips. They were like sugary, so it can go straight to your muscle really, really quick. And I know people are probably like, oh, like you have to have candy. I know I'm weird. I don't like candy. So I like got sour strips because my kids like them. So I was like, well, I'll have what I need to have and then they can take it. So yeah, did that, tried to pump up backstage, was really having a hard time getting blood into my muscle, like feeling a pump of any sort. And I don't know why. You know, my coach was like, try and get a really good pump, and I was like, nothing's happening. I don't know. But anyway, went on stage. We were on stage for a while. So they do, like once they're doing the figure category, then they go through the novice and the masters and the open like all at once. And so, which is nice, but when you're in all 3 of them, you get fucking tired up there. And like, y'all know, I've been working on my posing every fucking day. So I have really, because I've heard about like needing to be conditioned for posing, but they took their time, which is great. However, when they took their time for novice and for masters and for open, I was probably like hardcore posing because you can't like stop and breathe, you know. We were probably on stage for 30 minutes. And yeah, when my back pose, I really have to arch my back to push my glutes out and to keep my shoulders square and stuff like that. So my lower back was like, yeah. But anyway, that was that. We did our awards. I got to meet my coach. Oh, so he saw me. He actually was able to drive down because he had another competitor in bikini division. So I got to meet a teammate too. It was the first time I actually met my coach in person, which sounds so crazy because I've been working with him since like before, like the end of June, right? He was cool, and he was able to see me in person, which videos and pictures are great and all, but like yeah, so he was able to give me feedback like on everything, so he could get a good idea what we needed to do for carbs. So anyway, show day I woke up, I think it was 122.8 or something like that. Not my lowest, but pretty dang close. I think my lowest was 122.6. And we kept pushing. That was after having all those carbs, you know, for days beforehand. And like show day, I was fucking hungry. Like, number one, I didn't get to have coffee. We're not talking about that. But also like we were having all those easily digestible things. So like my body was just running through them. Yeah, so my coach was like, you are definitely lean enough. We can probably start reversing after the show, even though you're gonna be doing other shows. And what reversing is you strategically start bringing food up. One, it reduces stress on your body. Two, it improves your hormones. Three, it fills your muscles up more. And four, it stops the deficit, the loss. So he's like, you don't need to lose and you don't need to get any leaner. You don't need to lose any more. You will start, you know, losing muscle, which is the last thing we want. So he had told me in my peak week plan that like, hey, after a show, you can go have a restaurant meal, you know, a free meal, don't track it, you know, whatever. And I remember being like, I'm probably just going to want to go home and go to sleep. I'm going to be tired. Like, I don't know that I want to do the restaurant meal. I don't really care. But I was fucking hungry. So, and we were an hour and a half from home. And after show and like seeing me and stuff like that, he was like, no, you need to go have this restaurant meal. Like, I want you to go have this restaurant meal. Okay. So I went and got all my stuff together. I told them, if I'm gonna do this, we're gonna have Mexican because I love Mexican food. So my son found a cute little place, and I will insert clips. So what did I do? I love chips and salsa. So we had chips and salsa. I got guacamole for the table. I got queso for the table, and just had a little bit of all of it. Like, didn't stuff myself, but like enjoyed the flavor. And then for my entree, I got fajitas, but I just ate, like, I didn't do all the like rice and beans and tortillas and shit. I never do, actually. I just had the fajita steak and vegetables. I was so glad to have my vegetables. So the splurge, I guess, was the guacamole and the queso, and obviously the chips. But I was full, I was satisfied, but I didn't feel gross and bloated. So, yeah, it felt really good I haven't had an untracked meal in years. I don't even know. Which, whatever. But I made sure to thank my family and who was with us at the dinner, like, just for coming and being there for me and giving me their support. And I think my kids enjoyed watching me just be unrestricted, because I don't want them to think everything is about restricting. And they saw me enjoy my food, not, you know, measure it and pick at it and stuff like that. And they need to see that stuff too. They need to see discipline, but they also need to see like the balance. And I need to do a better job of that. But yeah. And it was funny. So like they were in the bathroom. I was talking with my friend, my stage mom, who was with me. And it was like we were waiting for the check. And I was just like, oh, I feel really full. But like I said, I didn't feel gross. And she was just looking at me and she's like, I know what you're thinking. And I was like, she goes, let it go. You do not feel guilty. You were told to enjoy your meal. You enjoyed your meal. You don't feel like crap. You're full. Just sit with it and let it go. And I needed to hear that. Like, you have to let loose a little, like, within reason, but like you have to let yourself do that. So that's that. The next day, I was like, oh my God, I'm probably gonna wake up heavier because of that meal, and who knows where my sodium ended up being at after that. And I woke up Sunday morning. The plan was to go right back to my normal macros, which are the 90 carb, 140 protein, and 35 fat. And I'm totally prepared for that. I got up. I was also supposed to take a rest day. So no workout, just get my 11,000 steps in. So I woke up at a lower weight than the previous day after my free meal. I think I was at 122.3. I don't know. It was a new low. It was a new low for my prep. Go fucking figure. So I did that. I thought I was going to be really hungry on Sunday, going back to my, normal macros, but it wasn't too bad. It was okay. And I was busy just sort of picking up and unpacking and just trying to get things back to normal. And yeah, so then I had check-in on Monday, and the plan was that this week I go back to my normal heavy lifting that I did the 2 weeks prior to my show. So I did that. I was planning on my 11,000 steps and my normal deficit macros, and I lost weight again Monday morning. Another new low. It was 121 something. And he was like, I was afraid this might happen. We're going to have to be really aggressive with giving you food because I don't want you losing any more weight. We want to keep you at upper 122s, 123s. So I'm upping your macros so that we can try and stay ahead of this, which I never thought I would be in that situation, like ever. I'm a hard loser. So it was weird. So yeah, so then yesterday he changed my macros. He reduced my steps from 11,000 to 10,000. And then and that's again to reduce my activity output. So you're reducing the size of the deficit. And then he changed my carbs to 110 with 140 protein and 38 fat. And then he was like, so I want you to, if your weight dips down again between now and your next check-in on Thursday, reach out. I want to know about it because we're going to need to make adjustments before. Don't wait till Thursday. I'm like, okay. So Tuesday morning, I lose weight again, eating more food. So then I'm in I was at 121.3, I believe, yesterday. So he sent it to the coach and he's like, all right, we're going to definitely have to be more aggressive. I'm upping your carbs to 140, protein at 140, and then fat at 40. So he's like, this is kind of what I was anticipating after this weekend and how your body was handling carbs. We're definitely gonna have to be more aggressive. I want you sending your weights in every day because we may need to adjust and keep increasing food every day to stop the loss. So I don't even know what to say about that. Like the idea that he keeps feeding me and I keep losing weight is like dirt. What? Yeah, but it's a good problem to have because basically we're gonna reverse through the next couple shows, which I'm gonna get into what the plan is shortly here. So I went back to my normal weightlifting Monday. Yesterday, I went back to CrossFit. I can do CrossFit this week, my normal twice a week, and we'll go from there. So then this morning I woke up, and today's a rest day, but it doesn't matter. I lost weight again. So now I'm 120.9. So I sent that to my coach, and he's like, all right, we got to get more aggressive here. I'm upping your carbs to 185, protein 140, and fat, I forgot, to 40 maybe. I don't remember. It was this morning. And he's like, yep, I need you sending me this stuff every single day. We don't want to lose any more weight. Yeah, so we're just gonna keep working on this to hopefully fill you up more, which ties into some of the feedback I got from the weekend was to be more full. So hopefully with this reversing, it will take care of two things. It'll prevent me from losing any more weight because we don't want to lose muscle. And it will hopefully fill the muscle I have back up a little bit more than this past show. So that was a lot. All right, so what's next? So we're trying to figure out a few things because we were not anticipating getting a pro card, but it's also like an in-between pro card. So because it's Masters pro card, I could still compete in the amateur open category at another OCB show to try and get an open pro card, which I kind of like the idea of because like I said, it feels not real without that open win. As long as I don't compete in a pro show, I can still compete in amateur open. I can't compete in the Masters anymore. But from what they said is with a Masters pro card, you are still, you're eligible to compete in pro shows, in Masters and in open. So like you don't need the open pro card to compete as a pro. But I truly don't feel like I'm ready to compete as a pro anyway. Like we would need to do a building season, stuff like that. But we also wanted to try different federations. So like, you know, this past week was OCB. I am now registered for my next show in like 10 days. And that's a Natty Revolution show. I think it's called Muscle Royale. It's on April 29th and it's real close to home. It's like 35 minutes away. So I don't need to stay in a hotel or anything like that. And that one I can compete. I already reached out to the promoter, explained, you know, my placings for this past weekend. He said I'm fine to compete. One, it's a different federation. So like it doesn't affect my OCB pro card status. I just I can't ever compete in like a debut or a novice because I've already competed before and I've won those. So I can't do those, but, I can compete in Masters at this Natty Revolution show, which is 40 plus, and I can compete in open. So this one we are going to do, they allow you to cross over. And if you guys have been watching here, we've been trying to decide between figure and bikini. So I'm going to compete in Masters figure, open figure, Masters bikini, and open bikini. So I'm going to compete in both figure and bikini and in both Masters and open. So that will be different because I haven't done the bikini one yet. I haven't gotten feedback on bikini yet. So the posing is different for Natty Revolution. Like the bikini actually does quarter turns and we haven't included that in any of my practice. So I'm not sure. I have like 10 days to get that together and my poor posing coach has had a death in the family. So she is like flying overseas to deal with that. So we're going to work through it. I'm not too concerned about it, but so that's my next show. And we were originally thinking about doing another OCB show in Indy on May 6th. That one I would only be able to compete in open since I already won Masters. But there's also several other shows that day. There's an NPC show and stuff like that. So I have to decide if I want to try to get the open pro card with OCB or if I want to do a show for a different federation and maybe be done after that. So I don't know. I have some thinking to do. I have some talking with people to do, but that is that. I'll do a recap later, I guess, of after all my shows of how I think all of it went. But I'm getting another phone call, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna insert a bunch of clips here. We have some hardware. It's a beautiful day out here. We are walking to Mexican food. My coach not only told me to have a meal at a restaurant, but he told me I need to eat a meal. So, this is my first meal without measuring food in probably years. So, yes, that clinking is my hardware. First thing I did, energy drink. I never had these ones before. Actually pretty good. But we're like, it's 5:30 or something like that. 5:45. And I am super hungry, so we're gonna eat here and then go home. And shower off my Oompa Loompa tan. But maybe keep the hair one more day. There's a lot of hair.
First time she's ever eaten. We're witnessing a historical moment right
I
here.
am not weighing this. So when you win 2 categories, you get twice the swag. Who loves free stuff?